I'm the 996, and today's video has to do with why you should why you should read if you want to write. Some people have a misconception that they want to be a writer, but they don't like reading. I have a few notes with me, and let me start. This might end up being two videos. We will see if we can have everything be in this one video. This is something I feel passionately about. So, one reason you should actually write and read is it helps you appreciate the format and the way you're trying to tell a story. Think about it. Do you think musicians don't actually listen to other musicians playing the same instrument? If someone wants to be a pianist, don't you think that they listen to other people playing the piano? If they listen to everything but people playing the piano, why would they want to be a pianist? If someone wants to be a chef, they should just be drinking smoothies. They should be savoring other people's food. If someone wants to go and be a um someone wants to be some type of athlete, they should be watching other athletes who are in the same sport that they are trying to get involved in. If you think about also going to storytelling, Spielberg watched other movies. You think that he didn't watch movies? No. These are just some reasons why you need to actually read books. Think about it. If you don't read books, how are you supposed to be able to understand certain things that might unconsciously or consciously help you with writing? For instance, dialogue tags. When two, maybe if you don't read books, you don't realize something about a dialogue tag, such as it can be taken out when two characters are only speaking. For instance, if you had Mike and Sam, and Mike is saying, I absolutely hate the snow, it's so icky. And then Sam's like, well, the snow is so wonderful. It makes me feel safe. And it's so cold. It makes me feel alive. You know what? Those two characters are talking about snow, and if they continue to have a conversation about snow, don't have to have he said and she said after every single line. You read books, you might catch on to this. I'm not trying to make anyone feel that that's something that should be obvious if that's not something that you caught on to, but there are certain things I caught on to, and I know other writers have caught on about certain formatting in books and telling stories that we learn from reading other stories. Maybe you realize, hey, if a character is talking and another character is talking, if they're both talking about snow, then that means even if it's the same subject, it doesn't go in the same paragraph. They need to have separate paragraphs. If Mike says something and Sam says something, Mike saying something needs to go in one paragraph, and then Sam saying something goes into another paragraph. These are things that you can learn by actually reading. Also, how do you expect anyone to be able to appreciate the story you're trying to tell and bring into the world, the way you're trying to bring it into the world, if you can't appreciate the way a story is being brought into the world, the way that you're trying to bring something into the world? Okay, let me just put that in an easier way to understand. If someone makes a movie, we are enjoying how let's think of Matrix. Matrix is a great movie. We have action. We're learning about this character named Neo and all the things that are going on with him as he's going further and further down the rabbit hole and learning that machines are in charge of the world. So, if you are watching a movie, you're learning maybe how different scenes that people are emotional. Maybe the camera sometimes will zoom up on their face, or how certain scenes might be a foreshadowing, and so forth. You should learn these things also from reading. If you want to write, You're learning how people are using words to foreshadow, words to show the emotions the characters are going through, how they're using words to understand the different dynamics between different characters. Writing has to do with words. So if you want to get involved in writing, you need to appreciate words and not just having the captions on the TV. Another thing writing is it helps you figure out what you want to write. With writing and reading helps you figure out what you want to write. If you read a book, and let's say you love reading fantasy, then you may realize that might be something that you want to write. I mean, not always. For instance, I like vampire stories, but I have no desire to write a vampire novel. It has nothing to do with the market. It has nothing to do with what is popular and what isn't popular. It's just not something that I want to specifically spend a whole lot of time writing. But I also enjoy fantasy stories and science fiction fantasy stories, and I want to write certain stories within that genre. Now, you might say, oh, well, I watch TV and I watch fantasy stories on TV, so I know I want to write a story that's fantasy related. You know what? That's great. That's absolutely wonderful that you want to write a fantasy related story. Or maybe you love watching mysteries and you realize, I want to watch a mystery. Maybe you like watching Hallmark Channel. You want to write some type of cozy mystery. That's fine. But you want to actually write, then you need to find out how other writers are doing what you want to do, how they are expressing themselves, how they are telling that story. So you can learn certain things and appreciate that. When I was a kid, I didn't specifically like reading, and that was because the books I was given I considered, excuse me, I considered to be boring. But you know what? My mother gave me a comic book that made me like to read. Even though I love telling stories and I want to be a writer, I love to read when I started getting into comic books and going from there. If you are a teenager or older and you want to write, you can pick up your own books. You can maybe from the library or the bookstore, however it is you're able to purchase books. Go get a book to read. If you're not used to reading, start. One way you can do this is figure out what type of movies that you enjoy. If you enjoy mysteries, go to library. Librarians are great. Find a librarian and say, I'm looking for books that are mysteries. Librarians are great. Ask a librarian, hey, I like mysteries. What kind of books would you suggest? If you like fantasy, hey, I like fantasy books. Or I like fantasy stories. What kind of books would you suggest? Maybe they can point you in the right direction. Go to Amazon and just put in fantasy books or mystery books or horror books or whatever type of movie or TV shows that you enjoy. Go to a bookstore and then just simply open up the jacket and read the cover, or maybe read the back cover or read the inside jacket cover to see what this book is about and find something that catches your interest. If you want to be a writer, you have to read. Now, if you want to, even if you want to not take writing as seriously, if you want to be a hobby writer, that's fine. If that's something you want to do, you still need to read. You want to write as simply a hobby, you still need to read. Think about it. If you go karaoke, you listen to music. If you paint, I'm sure that you've seen other paintings. If you want to go have a hobby and you just run as a hobby, I'm sure you've seen other people who run. It's good to make sure you know certain forms to have when you're running so you don't hurt yourself. So it's good to know certain things about the body, or maybe trying not to bend over like this when you're running, and that might hurt yourself, or you might just trip over your feet and look really silly. The point is, if you want to write, you really want to appreciate a story, have a story be appreciated in the way you're trying to bring it to the world. You have to appreciate another way someone else is bringing their story to the world. I'm the 996. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you also enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you, and have a good day.